Every time I set a light goal, they destroy it. Every single time! What's up everybody, AnimeX here, and in this video I will be doing, adding yet another part to the What If Naruto is an Uchiha series. This is due to you guys hitting the like button like your lives depend on it. And that only leaves me with the option to up the ante yet again. So the like goal for this video was now going to be 500 likes. And part 8 comes out immediately after this like goal has been met. If you guys want me to drop 2 parts tomorrow to this What If, then you guys really have to pull out all the stops and get to 1,000 likes today. So keep those goals in mind. But like always, guys, I'll be recapping the last part of the What If, then jumping right into it. So let's jump right into it. So without further ado, let's get started. Now, in the last part of this What If, right, we see Naruto and Sasuke fight Gaara through sheer force of will and perseverance. They are able to catch a clutch dub against Gaara, with Naruto able to pull out some Gamma Bunta shenanigans and able to beat Gaara along with Shukaku. After this, they basically enter the Tsunade retrieval arc, or the Tsunade arc, the search for Tsunade arc, whatever you want to call it. They're looking for Tsunade now. And now, they're going to get her for a multitude of reasons, but just like in the original, this was interrupted by Itachi attacking them, and we left off with Jiraiya watching over and protecting the unconscious Naruto and Sasuke. Now, like I just said, we left off with a Naruto and Sasuke being unconscious, but after their fight with Itachi, many hours later in fact, Naruto and Sasuke wake up to Jiraiya, who is watching over them intently and intensely. After they wake up and fully gather their thoughts, they both activate their Sharingans instinctively, not knowing if Itachi is still near them, and not knowing if they're still in danger. After assessing the situation a bit better, Naruto and Sasuke somewhat relax, although Sasuke seems to be more angry, furious, and wound up than agitated or scared of the oncoming threat of Itachi. After a bit of explaining, Naruto and Sasuke understand that they were saved by Jiraiya and Itachi draining himself. Itachi ended up draining himself with those special eye abilities that he used, decided to use the fight, and so then he decided to leave with his Akatsuki member partner. After the realization of the situation fully hits, Sasuke falls to his knees, literally shaking with the rage of not being able to kill Itachi when he was right there, right in the palm of his hand. Naruto, on the other hand, while he does feel a large buildup of anger inside of his heart, he recognizes that it is not his because it feels foreign to his body, but he notices that it is the nine-tailed fox inside of him. Naruto himself is not angry, he is angry himself, but not nearly to the extent of Sasuke. The reasoning for this is actually kind of complex, but for this, it's mainly one thing, but it's just inherently that Sasuke is more driven by his hatred than most other characters, which is the main goal of this. That's a big part of his character, and it's also because while Itachi told Sasuke all of his intentions and the slaughtering of the clan in front of him, Naruto did not see any of this. In fact, the only reason he knows Itachi killed the clan is because Sasuke's word for it, and he believes him, and the fact that he saw the aftermath of the clan massacre himself. Naruto can barely remember the horrors of that night, while Sasuke has to deal with that nightmare every waking and every unwaking moment of his life. Compared to Sasuke, Naruto isn't really suffering, not because he doesn't feel the same pain as Sasuke, but more because Naruto is slightly more detached from the situation. This also is a benefit for Naruto because although now he's a little bit less emotional and he's not as driven to kill Itachi, he is still driven to find Itachi and question him a bit. But Naruto is now able to look at the situation without the lens of hatred and wrath that Sasuke has in his heart and is already looking through. This is why Naruto comes to the conclusion that Itachi's mood and attitude shift does not match at all what he was like previously. In fact, for all Naruto knew, Itachi was a pacifist that was just very strong and knew that he had the power and the gumption to be a ninja. In fact, Naruto's almost sure of it, but he can't know for sure that what Itachi said that night and stabbed him recently is very important to what Itachi was going through at the time. But recently, Naruto has only been able to remember bits and pieces of that incident and has been actually having nightmares and been losing sleep over this. And through these dreams, Naruto recalls yet another detail through that encounter, although at first it seems extremely weird, or at least like a minuscule detail, this will compound later in the story. But Naruto does remember the fact that Itachi stabbed him directly in the stomach, right in the belly button, narrowly missing any vital organs even though Itachi would be well aware of where his are. And then, after that, he twisted the blade a complete 360 degrees before taking the sword out and mumbling something. When Naruto remembers this, he decides to keep this to himself until he decides to piece the rest of the puzzle together on his own. Now, while Naruto is trying to figure out why this detail would be important to him and why it resurfaced to his head, we actually do something that I haven't actually attempted to do in a What If, and we are now shifting the perspective over from the protagonist of the What If, being Naruto and Sasuke, to actually be cut over to Itachi, who is traveling away from the battle, tired from using two of the most draining and powerful abilities that he has back to back. So he knows that he needs to go rest, but while on the way, Itachi starts thinking about what Naruto said to him in their fight. Keeps replaying Naruto, asking him who forced him to kill the clan in his head, and although Itachi acted like this unfazed him in the fight, this actually shook Itachi to his core, since this possible development could not only disrupt, but completely ruin his plans. If you guys don't know, Itachi's entire plan for Sasuke and Naruto hinges off of the fact that they hate him and they want to kill him with everything they have. But Naruto, if Naruto figures out Itachi's secret and tells Sasuke, this might only never get them to kill Itachi and get in the MS, but it'll also make them turn against the ninja of the leaf, making this scenario very bad and the most likely in Itachi's mind. So while they're jumping away, Itachi keeps running scenarios through his mind on how that you could possibly stop their ability to unravel the truth. Then Itachi thinks back to their fateful night when he had to kill the entire family and send his brother and someone who he thought as a brother into a living hell. Itachi then recalls all the slashes and cuts that he's made and when he killed his people and his family, and he remembers the absolute sadness that he felt when he had to bring his swords to his father's and mother's neck. And he also remembers the look that Sasuke had when his two parents were dead and all he saw was his older brother, his ray of hope and his protector, covered and stained in the same blood, the blood that his parents had just shed. Itachi also remembers vividly the feeling of having to sink his sword into Naruto's stomach and doing what he did to him. He knows that he can't lead a happy life at this point, but with his death scheduled to happen somewhere in the near future. But what he does want to do before he dies is give Naruto and Sasuke the tools they need to survive and thrive in the ninja world. And he also wants to die by their hands in order to give them the abilities that they need. So even with the MS, Itachi's thinking of ways to be able to formulate. He's starting to formulate a plan on how for their next encounter. And unfortunately for Naruto and Sasuke, it involves a very powerful genjutsu and a whole lot of mind control. Now, after this little thought of Itachi's, we cut back over to Naruto, who is training right now, or is going to start training eventually. Now, we cut back to Naruto, Jiraiya, and Sasuke, who is now tagging along with their journey. And during this journey, Sasuke is again back to his usual aloof and distant self due to the very recent loss with Itachi. So, when Jiraiya and Naruto eventually do stop in town in order to get some supplies for training, Sasuke says that he doesn't really care to learn this new jutsu that Naruto will be learning, and that if Naruto learns it, he'll be fine, and he'll be training on his own to learn hone some of his own moves and learn some new ones. So with that, Naruto and Sasuke part for their training. After a few weeks of training in this little town, Sasuke notices Naruto training in the middle of the night on the water balloon phase of the Rasengan still. Sasuke, being grumpy from just waking up, tells him to either do that quieter or go outside and work on it. Then, kind of offhandedly before he goes back to bed, he mentions that Naruto should just use Shadow Clones to speed up the training if he's having so much trouble with it. And that suggestion is going to fast-track Naruto's training exponentially. In fact, it helps on the control aspect of the Rasengan as well, so that actually pushes him so much that even one day, Naruto's able to get past two stages of Rasengan, is now focused on the controlling it and keeping it very small and spherical aspect. And through many failures and many failed Rasengans, Naruto is worried that he could possibly damage his hands if he takes too long to figure out how to use this step. This failure, though, frustrates Naruto to no end, and Sasuke then wakes up to see that Naruto is passed out outside with a small smirk on his face. He brings Naruto inside, lays him down in bed, and continues to go off on his training on his quest to beat Itachi alone. Now, since I'm trying something a little bit new and cutting through different perspectives, we are now cutting through Sasuke's, who is fresh off the loss of Itachi, and so his burning rage is now being turned into something a little bit more productive than seething hatred for someone. But now Sasuke has two things to keep on his mind: keep Naruto safe and get strong enough to absolutely body Itachi if they ever be confronted with him again. And Sasuke knows that this will not only take time, but specific planning for Itachi's arsenal in order to be able to fight him correctly. Sasuke then essentially uses his Sharingan to play back the entire fight with Itachi to the T inside of his mind. This means that Sasuke is image training now. This is a form of training that kind of comes from DBZ, but it's a training that either requires a great deal of meditation for a long time in order to enter a state or a state of mindset ready to do that image training, or a perfect copy memory of that person's entire moveset and fighting style, which due to the recent fight that he had, that advantage is given to Sasuke just due to his Sharingan. So now he's reviewing Itachi's moves and attacks, and is practicing in his mind, dodging them and countering them in the most efficient way. Now, if you guys are aware, I took this idea from DBZ, although I did take a few creative liberties with the usage and its benefits. But after a day or two, this image training, Sasuke is finally ready to put his body to the absolute limit. So for an entire day, Sasuke is putting himself through hell in order to increase his pain tolerance, chakra levels, stamina, and his ability to fight, or his willpower. So that way he can train his overall pain day after day. But now during this day, Sasuke is forcing his body to keep the curse marks open full spread for an entire day. So after this puts him through the worst pain that he's ever felt. But after recovering from the lashback of the curse marks, Sasuke decides to continue training his overall taijutsu ability. But Sasuke is preparing to take his jutsu power to a whole nother level, and that is while he's going to try to put it into a technique or channel his lightning style through something. So in fact, Sasuke would rather transfer the amount of lightning that he plans on using through a sword for more range and more cutting ability than even the Chidori. So Sasuke purchases one in town, like you do, and gets practicing with the sword training and his kenjutsu, along with practicing channeling lightning jutsu through it to get more damage output and more range on his attacks, which are both vital since Itachi seems to have perfect defense, so he needs more attack power, or should I say attack power. And since Itachi is faster than him, any extra range without a loss of speed helps him put him on a new levels in terms of combat capacity. Now, during their respective trainings, both Naruto and Sasuke are interrupted since a development was made within the search for Tsunade. Now, while they're training, Naruto and Sasuke have both been interrupted by Jiraiya, which are, they're basically going to be taken to meet Tsunade somewhere. Now, after starting to heather themselves, they realize they're in much worse shape than they thought they were. Naruto is in so much pain from everything on training that his head is spinning and can barely walk, and Sasuke can barely muster the strength to stay on his feet, much less walk somewhere so far away from the training ground. Jiraiya sees this, and it makes him smile just because of how hard they're working, and they aren't able to do much else but stand in their current state. So he puts both of the ninja on his back and says that he'll ask Tsunade to heal him while they're down there. And once they get there, they're able to see Tsunade, and we'll just say they are surprised that she's the same age as Jiraiya, and leave it at that. Now, even though the talk goes very similar how it does in the original, with Tsunade insulting the Hokage position, Naruto decides to defend it like always, but then the Princess Tsunade, in her drunken state, says something a little dicey. She says that Uchiha can't be Kage, of course, and when Sasuke and Naruto ask why hesitantly, she just says they are talented ninja, but they don't seem to have the will of fire strong enough for them to defeat the hatred that they have in their heart, and they would never be a good Kage. Now, for all of you TFS watchers, let's just say Tsunade pressed the Uchiha button, and she shouldn't have did that. Now, as soon as this is heard, calmly, Naruto and Sasuke tell her that they want to fight her. Tsunade, of course, accepts this offer in a drunken state, and this is actually something that is surprising for Jiraiya, since he would have thought Naruto and Sasuke would have lashed out, but they were waiting to save their anger for the fight outside. Now, as soon as the fight starts, she sees Naruto start forming a Rasengan, gets surprised by this, and tries to smash the ground with just her finger, just like in the original, to trap Naruto, but he's able to narrowly escape. And then Sasuke unsheathes his new sword and starts putting it to good use by pushing Tsunade to actually focus, since Sasuke is going pretty fast. And when Sasuke jumps up and comes down with a lightning enhanced slash, everyone is stunned, especially Naruto, who can see that the power of that attack and the chakra levels of that attack exceeds that of the Chidori, so he could have killed her in that instance. But Sasuke is far from over with his display of crafty swordsmanship when he makes lightning on his sword once again, and then because he's out of sword range, she drops her guard just slightly, but just because she thinks the attack won't reach her from there. But then Sasuke uses the lightning to actually extend the blade an extra couple of feet, and this almost stabs Tsunade straight through the shoulder, but she's able to just barely dodge the sword strike. Then Sasuke is about to unleash the curse marks and go all out, until Jiraiya stands in between them and just tells him to go home and train. When Jiraiya turns around after they leave, he knows that Sasuke, though, he thought he had the upper hand, but Jiraiya knows Tsunade's demeanor, and Sasuke was very close to losing his life in this fight. Jiraiya then turns back to Tsunade before she and goes off to drink with her. Exactly a week passes, and Jiraiya meets up with Tsunade once again, right before she plans on meeting up with Orochimaru. And when their drinking session is about done, and Jiraiya's on his way out, he says two things very seriously. He says if she endangers the village, he will kill her without a heartbeat, and if she endangers either of those two children's life ever again, he will kill her without hesitation. Now, what Jiraiya means by this is when Tsunade was about to fight, was fighting Sasuke, she was charging up a chakra-enhanced, powerful punch in the back. So if Sasuke got too close, she was just going to literally obliterate him and turn him into dust, although Jiraiya successfully stopped that. So After this, Jiraiya wakes up with a pretty mean hangover, and just like in the original, Tsunade goes to the spot, meeting Orochimaru, so Naruto and Sasuke head there as soon as possible with Jiraiya in little to no condition to fight. So when Naruto and Sasuke get there, Naruto decides to help protect Tsunade from Kabuto, and Sasuke needs to distract Orochimaru until Jiraiya gets there. So that's exactly what he does. He bobs and weaves throughout all of his attacks, but this is not something that he'll be able to maintain for long, especially how fast and how large Manda is at the time. So Naruto needs to hurry up and finish the fight, which needless to say is easier said than done since Kabuto is extremely skilled with his medical taijutsu combo. And this is continuously severing Naruto's tendons just for them to get repaired by the Kyuubi's powerful healing ability. But unfortunately, all the chakra that Naruto is using to heal himself and heal his tendons can now no longer be used for jutsu since Naruto is using them for something else. Naruto then decides not to heal himself anymore, and once his arm tendons are cut, he pretends like he's in too much pain to attack, and that makes Kabuto reckless, and he charges at Naruto without any awareness of his surroundings. So he starts charging directly at Naruto, and then Sasuke, running behind him, gets a slash in the back with lightning, and it stuns Kabuto for a bit, just long enough for Naruto to get the feeling back in his arm, charge up a Rasengan, a fully finished and fully formed one by the way, and shove it directly into Kabuto's body and knock him out during the fight. The rest of the fight goes pretty similar to how it does in the original, but while Orochimaru is on his way out of the fight, he asks Sasuke if he wants the power to beat Itachi. This catches Sasuke's attention briefly, although the celebrations of winning push this out of his mind for some reason. The quest is over for them though. They have retrieved Tsunade, and they are going to bring her back, heal Kakashi, make her the new Kage, and all is good and well. Although there is one thing on Jiraiya's mind that's been bothering him ever since he started teaching Naruto. Now, this was brought up just due to the fact that Naruto was able to heal himself so quickly. Why was Naruto's seal with Kurama so loose? So loose to the point where Naruto uses a if Naruto uses the 3-Tomo Sharingan, he can force a good amount of the Kyuubi's power out, whereas the seal should not even allow that to happen. There's no way Naruto could have done it, because he doesn't even know about it. He doesn't think Orochimaru could have done it successfully, or would have at least done it on purpose, but he pushes this to the back of his mind since he did accomplish the mission successfully, so he congratulates the two, and the team all starts heading back to the Leaf Village, happy over their success. And that, everybody, is where I'm going to be ending part 7 to the What If Naruto Was an Uchiha series. Obviously, you guys seem to like this series, so I don't doubt that you guys will hit the like button, and you guys will somehow hit the like goal of 500 likes in a day or something retarded like that. I don't know at this point, guys, but the like goal is 500 likes if you want part 8 immediately after this, and if you guys want 2 parts of this What If, the like goal is 1,000 likes, and I'll drop 2 parts to this What If tomorrow. So, as always, hope you enjoyed the video. Also, if you guys are new to the channel and haven't already done so, consider subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss out on more Naruto, Uchiha, What If content, and my What Ifs in general. As always, like I said, hope you enjoyed the video, and as always, guys, this is AnimeX, signing off.